rank and litter type regarding this. Some things about diffusion coefficients, and then high pressure adsorption of methane. And it's dependent on the discussed parameters. I'm talking here only about the matrix of codes. You know, you have, normally when you're looking on a seam, you have cleats, face, butt cleats, and whatever. And what I'm talking about is matrix blocks. So in the end, the porosity I'm talking about is not cleats or something like this, or fissures. So it is when you're looking on a block of coal, and undisturbed, and how the porosity of this coal is in dependency of rank. So I want to present you two principles, basic principles of this coal structure. You've seen yesterday, Peter has shown you this big bubble of molecules which are generated in computers and so, and it is easier when we reduce it to some small facts for people who are not familiar with this topic. A man, his name is Hirsch, has developed this, I don't know, 1955 or something, but it's still valid. He has done it with XID, and he has distinguished between two stages. Sorry about this, is in German here. The first is you have the open structure, in the end low rank coals. You have aromatic lamella, and you have aliphatic crosslinks in between these aromatic lamella. It is, in fact, of course, it's more complicated. You have functional groups and so on and so forth, but the principle is still valid. At a higher rank, a mid-range rank, you have some kind of ordering, which is called the liquid structure. You have here this aromatic lamella, which begin to pile up. In the end, you have think that you have benzol rings, which form some kind of lamella. It depends on the author, so sometimes it's 6 to 8, sometimes it's 10 to 20, whatever. And they pile up to so-called crystallites. Then you have small blocks of crystallites. And in the end, you have the aromatic, the anthracitic structure, where you have here big zones of orientation, and you have some new generated kind of porosity. But this is here some kind of mesoporosity or macroporosity in the end. As far as I do not have these images with me, I cannot show you this from TEM, but I will show you some other images where we can see it. Okay, another principle is that you have molecular orientation domains. This here is a diagram from Rousseau from 1990. He has developed it with also with TEM, and I've put it in here, although it is not really true, because I also had contact with Rousseau, and he said you wouldn't do it like this anymore. You have this molecular orientation domains, but they're not really growing with increasing rank. So there is a small growth, but in the end, this year, it's definitely not true anymore. But as far as I had it on the computer, I put it in last night, and it's just to show you that there are, in the cone matrix, some kind of, I will show it later with TEM, that you can see it. You have an amorphous matrix, and within this matrix, you have some kind of patterns. Some are spherical, and some are, let's say, we have no real orientation, but have a real crystalline pattern. And these similar patterns for the narrow ultra high porosity viscous structure of crystallites and MODs, as well as amorphous carbon. Total amount of multiporosity changed considerably with increasing rank. Dry coats show a well-known parabolic curvature, whereas moist coats have a more or less near increase, about 300% from 0.7 to 3.2 Reginald reflectance. Mesomacroporosity decreases exponentially, there's something missing, with increasing rank. Lithotypes are displaying different mesoporosity, which ranges around 1.1 vitronite reflectance. The images and pore diameter distributions are showing porosity in metal matter, but no significant difference in diffusion and absorption capacity for CH4. Therefore, the porosity is probably close due to cementation in illite or moisture. And mineral matter do not contribute in a significant way to the absorption of methane. Absorption is controlled by the amount and rank of the organic matter. And the absorption capacity for methane is increased linear with rank and microporosity respectively.
So any questions, please?
Peter.
Of course, I was really fascinated by these. I'd understood were a turbostratic style structure, more highly ordered than the rest of the matrix. And the way that developed with increasing rank, it struck me as being exactly the same as what you see with metallurgical coking. When you take a coal and you heat it up, and as you heat it up, you get the development of mesophase, you get these large turbostratically homogeneous areas. It seemed to be exactly the same process, but on a much finer scale and at a much slower rate than what you're seeing in artificial coking practices.
Yeah.
More of a comment, I guess. I was completely fascinated by that.
You know, I've realized it about 1 year ago, and up to now, I've also seen this in a coke structure, and I've no explanation for this kind of why this carbon lamella are forming this kind of grapes. I have no idea, and I've also contacted some other people who are working on macro models of carbon, but more on graphene or whatever. As I said, no idea.
Can I have a second question?
Please.
Is that okay? Thanks.
Please.
You have a plot of micropore volume, and there were two graphs. There was one on the dry samples. There was a dry sample that went down and then went up the micropore volume, and then you had equilibrated moisture micropore volumes just decreasing constantly as you decrease the coal rank. And that crossover was at around about 1% vitronite reflectance. Does that suggest that we're wasting our time by doing moisture equilibration at samples of greater than 1% vitronite reflectance for the absorption isothermal?
More or less, yeah. More or less. It also, when you I've also measured dry coals of methane, and the absorption capacity is nearly the same like moisture equilibrium. Yeah. It's really wasting time here. It's perhaps some percent difference. Let's say it differs a little bit in the very high range, but in most cases we do not measure it for companies. So, but from 1.1 on, in the end, it's nearly no difference.
Yeah, I've always thought that. Don't tell the clients though.
Yeah.
How about leads?
So come on.
Thank you for your presentation. What is important for us in case of chemical weapon?
Of what?
Chemical weapon. Chemical weapon in the war. In the war.
Chemical weapon?
Yes, yes. What type of cool?
It's good for.
What type of cool, according to absorber? What type of cool you use for mask or other thing?
Okay. In the end, well, it depends a little bit on the size of the molecule you want to filter. Let's say when you have the range between, let's say, 1% vitronite reflectance and 2%, I wouldn't use, because it's very dense. You have this turbomolecular structure, within it you have this, it's amorphous. You only, let's say, molecules, also higher hydrocarbons, are not able to penetrate it. When you're doing absorption experiments with higher hydrocarbon molecules, you have nearly no surface. It only works with smaller ones like methane, carbon dioxide. And this is different in low-rank coals, where you have this multimodal pore size distribution and bigger pores, and also, again, for the high-rank coals, where we have this opening of the porosity, where you can filter small molecules, but also greater molecules. So I wouldn't, well, it's something you should have to test, but from my experience, I would say the range between 1 and 2 Rittenite reflectance I wouldn't use.
Specialized in your, and your effort is very appreciated because it is very nice work. Just I'd like to ask about the mineral content. Rutile, you said you talk about rutile and illite clay minerals. Are there you study it orthogenics or they are detrital?
What was the last sentence?
Detrital
Also,
or orthogenics, these minerals, clay minerals and rutile, in the content of the cool seeds.
Talk to the other one.
yeah, the elite is definitely a part of the
Yeah,
hmm?
cool.
Autochtone. So yeah, it was part. It's a part of the environment when the coal was
Sure.
yeah. So in the swamps. So
For me, from Mortimer and Mortimer.
No. Elite in the diagnosis stadium, they come. But rutile, rutile is very interesting. From where it's coming, rutile? From the plant or what?
yes.
From the plant. We have titanium in the plants. Maybe also auto.
That's what the mineralogist said. I'm not good in mineralogy, but I asked him, of course, where comes the titan from. And I saw there are some plants which have this
Titan,
titan
yeah.
within, and it's in the end it's the rest of some plants, and they form the titan oxide, and with increasing depth, then it's in the end it's condensed.
Sorry, in addition to Kamal's question together. So, what's the benefit of this coal for burning as a fuel? You don't speak about that, and you also speak about specific surface and permeability. Are they directly proportional to each other? Permeable coal, surface coal is very good for burning as a fuel, or dull coal or bright coal. Which one is better for burning as a fuel?
Yeah, there's two things. You know, for burning coal, it's another parameter is important. These are the volatile matters. When you have particle combustion, you have and the particle goes into the heated zone. You have a directly loss of volatile matter, and this changes, and that's kind of char development. And this is something which goes in hundreds or perhaps hundreds of milliseconds. And then it's important to how the oxygen partial pressure is changing within this particle. And as far as in the high-rank coals, you have a negligible amount of volatile matter. So then you have the surface combustion. So this is something. It depends on the plant and on the size of the particle. So there is a lot of interaction from this char combustion, which you have to take into account. So in the end, you can burn anthracite, and on the other way, you can burn also low-grade coals. It depends on the Kessel. The Kessel is on the boiler.
Kessel?
Der Kessel, wo die Kohle drin verbrannt wird.
Overnight calls it, yeah.
Yeah,
And also maturation rate and materials,
Yeah.
huminite or gyptinite.
There are a lot of parameters which you have to take into account to design the power plant according to the type of coal.
Okay, I have more questions because I don't ask because there's more than 100 questions. It's too much. Maybe I need one day. But one question is maybe interesting for this in this seminar. You can use the methods also for other organic rich sediments.
Yeah.
For example, source rock. You can use the same.
Yeah,
The
gas
same-
shales, for example.
Gas shells.
We have made, at the moment I'm doing with the Canadian Geological Survey and the Danish Geological Survey some small investigations on gas shales and difference in the porosity and gas absorption, whatever. And the organic material, although it is marine material, are displaying the same thing, the same things, the same parameters like this vitrinite structures.
Explanation. I show one image. You show the crystalline one and amorph one.
Yeah.
What is a crystalline? What do you mean by crystalline?
Crystalline means the smallest unit of a crystalline part is a benzol ring. And then benzol rings. So,
Yes.
and then you have a connection of benzol rings which forms a layer. This is called, which you call a lamella. And this kind of lamella is growing. And then you have a pile up of different lamellas. And in the end you have a block of orientated aromatic lamellas or layers. And this block, this block is, these are these crystalline parts or molecular orientation domains.
So you
Okay,
mean
but
looks like crystalline or crystalline?
Yeah,
No,
looks like crystalline.
you use crystalline
Crystalline.
for that, but it's not really crystalline or reflection.
It becomes more and more crystalline.
You can detect it by X-ray.
Yeah, you can
Easily.
test it easily.
It looks like crystalline, not
Yeah.
crystalline.
And you can easily determine the D002 spacing between this aromatic lamella. Sorry.
Yes, I wanted to say, if you have a mineral and you can see the crystalline of benzene, as you say, but how you cannot see the crystalline of the mineral? And what is the effect of the mineral or these carbons?
We do not have, in this samples, there was mineral free, the coal. So we do not have minerals in this coal.
Yeah, but you show also some effect that if you have a mineral and if you don't have a mineral, so the absorption is almost the same.
Yeah.
And so I just wondering what is the effect of the mineral. It's just like a catalyst, and if you have it,
In the end, what we see, we get values. So it is between, for lowering coals, between 8 to, in the Ruhr basin, 8 to or 10 to around about 30 cubic meters per ton. So,
we can discuss later. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Now we have the next ICCP membership. My friend, Dr. Stavros Kalitsidis. He's a geologist and coal geologist. He holds a PhD from Patra University in Greece. And he works as a resource geologist in IRC, Australia. Please, thank you.
Thank you. I might follow the example of Dirk, and if you hear me, I will not use the microphone, but I'm not sure. Are you hearing me to the back? Is that okay?
You raise your, you don't have any problem.
You have to use it, but
All right, okay, I will use it, yes. Okay. So, first of